excited about this one. In this video, Furitek brushless setup with the little Python X ESC along with the 2000 kV Komodo 10 Outrunner motor going into the Red Cat Ascent. If you follow the channel, you know I'm actually kind of a Hobbywing fanboy. I tend to run Hobbywing stuff, especially once they came out with that Fusion SE, but I've already put those in a number of trucks. It's time for something different. I need to go test out this Furitek stuff. And so here we are, both of these setups going into the Ascent, hoping to not only give us better throttle control, smoother power delivery. The first step is we need to get the factory brushed setup out of here. Getting the ESC out is pretty straightforward. Double-sided tape, pulling it off for us. Yes, perfect. To reuse this pinion is the goal. Now for the fun part, let's see what is in this kit. In this fancy dancy little case here, we have, it's going to show us some of the different specs, different aspects of the ESC, calibrating of the throttle, and some of the Bluetooth. That's great. We have a little silica package. It says do not eat, throw away. Please don't eat those. And then here we have the ESC itself. Awesome. This thing is looking good. It's got the little Bluetooth module on it, power switch. Hook in here. That already has XT60 on it, which I'm a big fan of my XT connectors. So for me, this thing is basically ready to run. Very excited about that piece. Let's check out this motor. Oh, that thing looks nice. Let's look at it here. Mounting screws. So we're going to double check those versus the factory ones and check for length and make sure we're not getting into any interference. And then check out this Outrunner motor. That is awesome. Thing is looking great. Again, this is the 2000 kV version. Now, I don't know if this is going to come across in the video, but I'm actually being very careful here. These are the screws that came with the factory Ascent to mount the motor, and I'm actually trying to screw them in and make sure how far it goes in before I contact anything important. This screw hole over here that is almost across from the wires, you can actually look in the edge here, and you can see there's nothing there, and you can actually see the screw coming in. So unless I get all the way in to where I'm all the way over here, it's going to be fine. So that longer screw on the bottom is just fine. As I watch this screw come in through the top, you can't barely see it. I can't barely see it, so I doubt it's coming through. It does actually touch one of these wires as it comes in. So we're going to be really careful. Good news here is that this motor plate is nice and thick. So I think this is all the distance it needs to go in, and it does not look like it's barely touching the wire at that point. So I think it's going to be fine. So the first step we're going to take here is to bolt this right in here. As you do so, please make sure that you use some kind of blue thread locker. This is the Permatex blue. I always had really good luck with it. There should be maybe like a YouTube link pop up about where you can go click and easy purchase it. I do like it. The gel seems to hold on well, and it does work out really well for me. But since this is metal into metal, you're going to want that. Now, before I tighten it all down, I'm going to spin the motor around and go ahead and get the pinion gear on there. Aha, check it out. All right, motor is in. I was surprised I had to clock this over this direction. If I tried to clock it the way I was wanting to, it interfered with this shock tower a lot. I almost just got the grinder out and took the edge off this shock tower, but instead I just clocked it over this direction. There may be more changes coming to this truck in the future anyway that change some of this, but for now it fits beautifully right here. Motor wires are plenty long because I'm going to end up putting that ESC back over here where I had the factory one as well. So let's do that now. We're going to get that ESC out, and we're going to get some double-sided tape to adhere it down. Using some double-sided tape, I actually have the ESC down right here. I put the power switch on top of it. I think I'm going to end up tucking the Bluetooth module right in here next to it. Communication cable coming out of it then goes into channel 2 on the receiver. The 3 wires from the motor just go straight into ABC here on the ESC. You should be able to put those on in any of the orientations, and then if it happens that it's moving backwards, we'll be able to switch a couple of the wires. So I still clearly need to get all of the wire management done here, all the zip ties, everything neat and tidied up, but it's physically mounted And so now what we're going to do is get the Furitek app loaded on my cell phone, get a battery in this thing, and make sure how it works. I have everything plugged in. I have got the vehicle off the ground just in case it takes some kind of wild signal. Controller is on. We're going to go ahead and flip the power on here. Now, I have steering. That is good. My throttle is reversed, so if I pull forward, it is going in reverse. Let me hold the vehicle down here. I think there are two of the wires switched here. So what we're going to do is turn this off. Let's just swap two wires. And see if we can reverse the with those two reversed, we're going to fire it back up and see if that just shortcuts our ability to make it go backwards. So now forward is forward and reverse is reverse. Whew, that drag brake hits hard, doesn't it? All right, now let's see what we can do with the Bluetooth. So with the Bluetooth on in the phone here, it actually is showing a vehicle. So it is attempting to connect to it. The default password on all of these is 1234. Now that it is connected, we are getting real-time data, so that is good. It's showing me the voltage of the battery, and as I use it, it's showing me an amp and a watt of how much it's pulling. Now let's go into the menu here, and first thing we can do is throttle. And we can actually do a throttle calibration. Do you want to start calibration? Yes. Set 0 speed. Set max speed. So I'm going to hit full throttle here. Okay. Max brake. Okay. Do you want to save? Yes. Okay, that's working great. Now you have a neutral brake setting, you have a punch setting, we have a low speed setting, all of these different controls that we can make in here. So let's see, running. You can change the low voltage cutoff, you can change the output voltage to the servo. I don't know if this one in this Red Cat, this is still the factory one, if it can take a high voltage. It looks like you can easily swap it here. I'm going to just leave it at the 5.5 for right now. Yeah, so what I do find interesting here is there is a bunch of things in here, but I don't see any instructions or easy ways to see what some of these different settings mean. Max forward, max reverse, clearly 100%. That just means that you're going to give all the power. Max brake, when you hit the brake, how hard is it? Like, these are the kind of things that makes sense. But the power FOC goes from 10 to 30%. The locked brake goes from 0 to 100. You know, what does that mean here? Really don't know. It's interesting. I can turn it with it powered on. So what happens if we jack that way up? 25. Oh, now I can't turn it. Let's put it back to like 15. Ooh, that feels like a locked drag brake right there. Okay, so those are under there. Under throttle curve, we can actually set different things, and it says same data for throttle reverse. So you can select a point and actually control if you want any kind of exponential. Normally I do not worry about that with a crawler. Again, we have our battery. Ooh, current telemetry. While we're here, we're even going to go ahead and update the firmware in the ESC. It looks like there was a slightly newer version available. You can just, again, do it straight over the Bluetooth. It looks like it's only going to take a couple minutes. Well, I think that's going to be slow enough for any kind of technical driving I need to do. Almost to just moving nothing. Which, honestly, I never really drive there. I'm usually a crawler at about this speed. So we're going to have to just see how this actually works out on the crawler course. So what's really awesome here is I'm actually out here on the crawler course with the Furitek app up, and I can go ahead and drive it on an obstacle, tweak something while I'm out here. It's actually pretty cool. So I have the truck on a slope, and I'm in here under the running condition and locked brake. So I guess that means when you stop, how much brake you have. It's at 14%, and if I start releasing it, you notice that locked brake's not enough, and the truck starts rolling back down the hill. Isn't that cool? And then I can just come in and I can increase it more, and it's gonna lock that vehicle right back to where it was before. I'm gonna play with this a little bit and set it to somewhere where I think is decent. I think it'll also help me reduce the drag brake force a little bit. The drag brake is really strong on this, so I want to kind of make it softer if I can. So I'm all the way down to a locked brake of 11%. That's pretty dang low. That was great. This Furitek system did really great back there on the rocks. Throttle control was there, power was there. Honestly, really happy with it, especially with the fact that it'll also do 4S. So if you do need that extra wheel speed, you can either go to the 2500 kV motor, which is probably what I would have normally done. Maybe go to the 2500 kV with a 3S and keep it at that. I think the wheel speed would have been beautifully perfect, just right there. With this 2000 kV, I may bump up the pinion just a tooth or two to get just a little bit extra wheel speed, but honestly, I tried like bumping up over some stuff, and the power was still really good. So I think whichever motor you go with, you're going to be happy. Low speed throttle control was great. I was able to literally sit there with the Furitek app and go round and around a couple obstacles, drive the obstacle, come back, change something, drive the obstacle again, come back, change something to suit this ESC and motor exactly to my driving style. No extra purchases required. Comes with the Bluetooth module straight out of the box. It's not like you're buying an extra programmer. You're not buying an extra Bluetooth module. It's just there. It's just there straight out of the box. One of the big questions that people will want to know is this worth the extra price premium over like the Hobbywing Fusion SE? And honestly, I think this is a very good system. I think for the folks that are more budget conscious, Fusion SE is definitely the way to go. It also gives you the waterproof features. This Outrunner motor, they don't necessarily like dirt and muck and mud and things along those lines, so you may really struggle if you get into that kind of environment with these kind of motors. But if you're running more comp style and you want that super low end throttle control that those Outrunners and that torque that those Outrunners give you, then this Furitek system is, I think, one of the best ones that you can get just out of the box, plug and play. Highly, highly recommended if that's what your game is, and that is what is staying in this Redcat Ascent. If you have any more questions about what I've done with this Redcat Ascent, there's going to be a playlist popping up right here to your right. We will see you in that video. Thank you and goodbye.